1 verse 1. In the beginning of the inhabitation of the earth, the angels of heaven gathered in horde, a heavenly plateau resting on the earth. Verse 2. The archangel Sethantes, the wisest among them, spoke to the assembly. Verse 3. Behold, we have come from distant heavens. By the voice of Jehovah, we are here to partake in the glory of the red star, the earth. Jehovah said to us, come and enjoy the new world I have created. Partake of all its fruits, except for the tree of knowledge, which is the fountain of life. Do not partake of it, lest you die. Verse 4. But the voice of the earth said to us, partake, for indeed mine is the tree of everlasting life. Verse 5. Many did not obey the voice of the Father, and are now bound by the tie of life, which is in the blood. Verse 6. Then the voice of Jehovah came to me, saying, Sethantes, my son, I gave you charge over millions of angels in my Etherean heavens, and you have brought them to the earth, where they have fallen from their high estate. Go and deliver them. Verse 7. I asked, what shall I do? And Jehovah replied, bring your angel host to Horde, for there I will crown you God of these heavens and earth for the redemption of angels and mortals. It shall be a new heavenly kingdom from this time forth until the end of the world. For it is the time of the Ark of Wan, and I will bring from Etheria my high-raised goddess, Itisii, chief factor of Harmuts, to crown you in my name, God of heaven and earth. Verse 8. God said, when I had spoken in Horde before the angels of heaven, a great light, like a sun, was seen descending from the firmament above. I commanded my ear-sonors to chant in praise of the Father and his works. Verse 9. Meanwhile, I had the angels of Horde counted, and there were 27,600,000, the same who were on an excursion under my charge, when the voice of Jehovah commanded us to visit the earth. Verse 10. The light above us descended quickly, like a ship of fire, until it was wider than the place of Horde and all my angel hosts. Verse 11. When the great light reached the plateau of Horde, 1,000,000 archangels emerged from it, from the Ark of Wan, in the hosts of Agi, in the orbit of Phosang in Etheria, bearing regalia and crowns from the Orient chief of Harmuts. Foremost were Itisii and her brother Yatihaga, commissioners from the Etherian heaven. Verse 12. As they approached, Itisii gave the sign of Jehovah's name, greeting, and said, all hail, in Jehovah's name, and in the love of Harmuts. Orient chief, we come to greet you, first God of the lower heaven, belonging to the corporeal earth. Verse 13. I responded, all hail, O emissaries of Harmuts, chief of Orient worlds. Come, O Itisii, your brother and all this host, come honor my throne, in great Jehovah's name. Verse 14. The archangels came forward saluting, and Itisii said, in thy name, O Jehovah, I establish here a throne. Verse 15. She raised the form and substance of the throne, ascended it with Yatihaga, and the other archangels formed a crescent in front, bearing crowns or diadems while standing upright. The angels of God's host took their places to witness Jehovah's commission, but the brilliant lights from the columns of fire hindered many from seeing clearly. Verse 16. When all was ready, Itisii, standing erect and radiant like a star, raised her right hand and said, Jehovah, all-wise and powerful, in thy name this thy son, God, I crown. From the Orient chief Harmuts, raised to the rank of God, and by thee, O Jehovah, ordained, henceforth to be known forever in the emancipated heavens as thy son. Peace, wisdom, love, power. Verse 17. With her left hand, she raised the crown high for all to see, gave the sign of Jehovah's name above the crown, from which a flame of light shot forth brilliantly. She then placed the crown on God's head, saying, verse 18, Arise, O my son, thou son of Jehovah. Instantly, millions of souls shouted, All hail, O son of Jehovah. God rose with the crown on his head, and the people cheered him joyfully, for he was well loved. Verse 19, Itisii said, Bring forth your 5 chief lords, so I may crown them also. God had the 5 chief lords he selected sit at the foot of the throne. Verse 20, Itisii raised her right hand again, saying, O Jehovah, Almighty, from whom all glories emanate, in thy name these thy sons I crown, lords of the earth, and of the waters of the earth. From the Orient chief harlots, by my commission do I raise them to the rank of lords for kingdoms of heaven. Peace, wisdom, love, power. Verse 21. Etisiai took the crowns handed to her by the other archangels and placed them on the heads of the lords, saying, Verse 22. Arise, O my lords, and be ye lords of Jehovah for his glory, and be ye the lords of God, having dominion over the earth and the waters of the earth, in love, wisdom, and power. Amen. Verse 23. The lords rose with the crowns of lords on their heads, and the multitude cheered greatly. When the applause ceased, Etisiai said, verse 24, My God and my lords, give now the sign of Jehovah's name, so his glory may be fulfilled. For this was the oath of office. Verse 25. God and the lords saluted Jehovah before the hosts of heaven. They stood apart a little distance, and Etisiai said, verse 26, Behold, the all-light Jehovah surrounds me. My voice shall be his voice. By the glory of faith in him, I am one with the Father. Verse 27. A fleece of golden hue descended from above and encompassed Etisiai, making her appear like a central star with rays of light emanating from her. She was entranced by Jehovah, and through her the Creator spoke, saying, verse 28, My son, even God, I brought you forth out of Corpor, quickened into life everlasting. By faith I inspired you to do all that you have done. Faith is the tree whereon all perfection is the fruit. By nurturing the I am within himself unto perfection, man becomes my son, acting by virtue of my presence. According to your wisdom and love, I have given you strength, and by your strength I have raised you up. Verse 29. Behold, this day I have given you a kingdom in atmosphere, and made you God before all the kingdoms of heaven. This place shall be yours and mine also. Here you shall dispense wisdom and laws, and appoint officers in my name and by virtue of my power. Verse 30. Your kingdom shall be like two kingdoms, one here with the hosts of heaven, and one on the earth, ruling over these lords. For you are the judgment seat and creator of order over the whole earth, and the heaven belonging to the earth. Verse 31. Stretch forth your hand, my son, and clothe yourself in the golden fleece. Verse 32. God made the sign and then raised his hands upward, saying, Jehovah, Jehovah, by your command I call upon you to array me in your golden fleece. Behold, I am your son. Verse 33. The archangels tossed up the raiment and regalia they had brought from their Etherian archonage, and by the faith that was in God, the substance flew to him and encompassed him in raiment of the upper heaven. Verse 34. Then Jehovah spoke to the Lord, saying, As God has built a kingdom in Hord and reigns over this heaven and over you and your helpmates, so shall you build kingdoms on the earth. You shall rule over mortals in my name, teaching them of me and my everlasting kingdoms in the firmament above. In testimony of my voice, receive this raiment of silver and gold from my archangels. Verse 35. The archangels then draped the lords in shining raiment. Etisiai, still entranced, came down from the throne, saying, verse 36, Though my daughter Etisiai will rise up in the flame of fire, I, even Jehovah, will abide with you, O God, and with you, my lords, now and forever. Etisiai then took God's hand and led him to the center of the throne, saying, Sit on this throne, for it is your father's kingdom in the lower heaven of the earth. Verse 37. When God sat down, the entrancement left Etisiai, and the light of Jehovah settled upon God and the lords. Etisiai sat down at the foot of the throne, and all the archangels sat down as well. Verse 38. God said, Behold, she who is greatest makes herself least of all. Arise, O daughter of Jehovah, and enjoy my kingdom, for it is Jehovah's also. God then came down from the judgment seat, took Etisiai's hand, and she rose. God proclaimed the freedom of the hour, thus establishing the first throne of God in these heavens. All the hosts, angels and archangels, mingled together joyfully,